What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. The Supreme Court is considering multiple cases here on gun rights. And this comes here as we had a particularly deadly weekend here. Mass shootings and violence leave multiple people dead and injured over the Father's Day weekend. Take a listen here.
Back here at home, a weekend of deadly violence across this country with at least 3 mass shootings. Police say 1 person is dead and 22 others hurt after gunfire erupted during a Juneteenth celebration outside of Chicago. And 1 person was killed and 9 others injured overnight in downtown St. Louis. The victims ranging in age from 19 to 15 years old. Here's ABC's Alex Perche.
In a year that's already seen more mass shootings than days, at least 3 more overnight. In Willowbrook, Illinois, police say at least 23 people were shot at a Juneteenth celebration in a strip mall parking lot overnight.
400 people outside, female screaming, report of gunshots.
1 person killed, others injured, fleeing the gunfire.
We just started her to shoot before we had us, so we dropped down.
It was chaos.
Police say they don't know how many suspects they're looking for or how many firearms were used, and they're still investigating a motive.
It's kind of becoming something where it's like inescapable.
Active shooting at Gorge Amphitheater. I'm not requesting any state assistance.
And in Washington state, authorities say at least 2 people were killed and another 2 injured after a gunman opened fire near the Beyond Wonderland Electronic Dance Music Festival overnight. The sheriff's department says the shooter walked the campgrounds firing randomly into the crowd. A suspect, also injured, now in custody. The festival has canceled the rest of this weekend's events. And in St. Louis, police say a 17-year-old is dead and 9 other teens injured after a shooting at a late-night party in an office building. Police are trying to figure out how the group got inside. Officers recovering multiple firearms, including an AR-style rifle. Police have arrested a teenager in connection with the shooting. Lindsay, the Gun Violence Archive reports there have been at least 310 mass shootings across the U.S. this year. Shootings resulting in the deaths of more than 820 kids ages 17 and under.
Yeah, and this comes as 2023 is already on pace to be the deadliest yet, with more than 300 mass shootings recorded just halfway into the year. These are only mass shootings, and this is just halfway into the year. That's more mass shootings than days of the year. We're the only country that comes even close to this. You can see it right here on the front page of Forbes. We have the Supreme Court considering multiple different gun rights rulings. And we also have major states passing gun control reform packages. And then we have other states going the other way, striking down gun control reform, depending on if you're in a red or blue state. It really just depends. So far this year, Washington, Colorado, and Maryland have pushed for gun control changes. Governors in 2 states passed major gun control legislation this year, and a third is poised to do the same soon. Colorado Governor Jared Polis signed the legislative package that include a longer waiting period for firearm sales and an increase in the minimum age to purchase a gun. Colorado's move came 3 days after Washington state became the 10th state in the nation to ban assault rifles or assault-style rifles and handguns after Governor Jay Inslee signed a gun reform package. Maryland Governor Wes Moore told reporters this week that he will sign a gun control package that includes prohibitions for civilian gun owners to bring their guns to school and other sensitive locations. Washington state banned the purchase of new assault-style weapons for residents as part of a 3-bill gun control-related package. The bill covers 61 rifles and pistols, including the AR-15, saying, quote, "Inaction against gun violence is unacceptable." Inslee told reporters after signing the legislative package. Residents who already own the prohibited weapons are allowed to retain the weapons under the law. kind of a grandfathered in type package. Another law in the package mandated training for gun purchasers that included instructions on proper storage, handling, use, and transportation package. We see a lot of cases where not having the gun stored properly is a big issue. If you watch that show On Patrol, previously called Live PD, I have seen personally several cases where children got a hold of firearms. I distinctly remember a child on video in that show where the child was walking around in a hallway. The kid was in diapers with a firearm, waving it around, and they had video footage of it and they showed it. It was not a good thing. And that was just during On Patrol. Imagine how many times that happens around the United States simply because parents are not, they're careless with just, locking them up, putting them in a, quick combination safe or something like that. Yeah. Now, the Supreme Court is actually considering recoil from landmark gun rights rulings. This is for several different rulings here. One court ruled from a federal law that cannot bar someone from owning a gun just because that person is subject to a domestic violence restraining order. You can let me know your thoughts here on the comments, or in the comments. Another decided that preventing someone's convicted of a nonviolent felony from owning a gun is unconstitutional. So the Supreme Court could actually overrule that. What do you think? A third found that the federal law prohibiting people under 21 from owning firearms is unlawful. So you can let me know your thoughts. Do you think an 18 or 19-year-old, do you think teenagers should be able to own firearms? Now, we'll always get the, comments that like, oh, well, if you're 18, you're old enough to serve in the Army, you're old enough to serve in the military, and, my brother was in the Army and my grandfather was in the Navy. He was actually at Pearl Harbor 2 days before Pearl Harbor hit and served in that. But that's a different story because if you're 18 and you serve in the Army, you go through training. You go through months or years of training and you're under supervision. You're always there with commanding officers. You're always there with supervisors. You're always there and you go through months and months and months or years of training. If you go to buy a gun, you don't go through that type of training. If you're 18 or 19 and you're not in the military and you just go buy a gun, you obviously do not go through the same type of training. If my son turned 18, trust me, when I was 18 and I came out of high school, I was not nearly as mature as I am today. You think about 18-year-olds and you get into fights over girls or whatnot. You're 18. You're not nearly at the mental maturity age of an adult, in their 30s or whatever, right? I know this might seem funny to you guys, and for some it actually will. But there's actually been some studies here, and you can read this here. You may be wondering if men ever reach maturity at all. And obviously for some, more often or lesser than others, right? In general, men and women cannot reach full maturity until their brains are developed at around age 25. However, some studies have shown that men do not fully mature until age 43, and that women reach maturity at age 32. You can let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Obviously, it's a little different for each individual person. Different people mature faster or not as fast as others. I digress. But you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. But I think we all kind of know that an 18-year-old, most of them are not quite mature enough to be handling a firearm. I would think, it's my opinion, especially if they haven't gone through firearm training. If you're in the Army, you're going through training. and you're under supervision of commanding officers, and they're there watching you, training you with the firearms. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date. If you are a veteran or if you're in the Army or in the services right now, thank you so much for your services and for keeping our country safe. As always, I appreciate your service here. If you're serving our country in any other way, nurse, doctor, teacher, or etc., thank you so much. Also, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on any new videos here that come out on our daily YouTube channel. Also, thanks for liking and sharing these videos. Here's some videos you should watch next. Here's some shocking new info on the origins of the C19 virus. And Congress is talking about cutting new details on cutting Social Security. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.